Tonight, businesses share concerns about a new warming center in Saskatoon. Prince Albert National Park officials step in to help an elk that got its antlers tangled in a hammock. And we take you to a spooky Saskatoon maze that's collecting money for a good cause.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Thursday, October 30th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says healthcare workers are right. Its new scheduling software is not working. The Health Authority will go back to the old system, but it'll come at a cost. Jeremy Warren has our top story.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority is apologizing to employees for the rocky rollout of Ames. On Wednesday, the province directed the SHA to halt implementation of the scheduling component of Ames. Healthcare unions have been pointing out flaws in the new system since it launched, including missed paychecks and missed shifts.
Shifts that aren't scheduled and filled appropriately leave patients and residents without the care they need and deserve. We are very happy with the government's decision to cease the use of the Ames system for scheduling.
The SHA says Ames will still be used for other systems like payroll and supply chain management. It admits errors made by scheduling software affected payment for some employees, but the Ames payroll software itself is working fine. For scheduling, the SHA is reverting to the old system for now.
What I want to be transparent about is those legacy scheduling systems at some point in time will need to be replaced, but that will be looked at outside of the Ames project, and we will explore solutions for that.
The Ames project replaced 80 outdated and disconnected administration systems in the healthcare system. The cost of the project has now more than tripled to $272 million.
This is again a symptom of a government that has a very, very poor track record of managing large projects and getting good value for money from taxpayers.
The SHA did not say if there are plans to recoup some of the costs associated with the faulty system. It says there are ongoing conversations with the vendor hired to implement Ames. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
And the SHA is also making a big change in how it notifies the public about emergency room closures. Starting next week, all emergency service disruptions will be posted online. That's an improvement from the current system, which provides updates on disruptions that have lasted a week or longer. The opposition NDP had called on the government earlier this month to make the change, but the province's health minister says that's not why the change was made.
No, it's because I heard directly from Saskatchewan people this summer. And that's, again, I talk about it all the time, but I can't stress it enough. I mean, it's what we do here in the House is important. It's essential work. But the most important work that we do each and every single year and month and week is really being out across the province, listening to Saskatchewan people. So that's really where this decision came from.
The NDP's rural and remote health critic says a daily update on disruptions is not enough. It's pushing for live updates that would notify the public within the hour of a closure. Cockrell says it's a matter of balancing resources. He wants the health authority to focus on stopping emergency service disruptions in the first place. The province has introduced its promised legislation around tailgating at Rider games, but not everyone will be able to take part. It will apply only to Rider home games, at least at first. Rider fans will soon be able to prepare food and bring their own alcoholic drinks to an adjacent parking lot. But the Rider CEO confirms there will be restrictions on who can tailgate.
Our intention right now is to limit this to our current season ticket members. We believe there'll be way more demand than supply, and so you would imagine as season ticket members they will be having a pregame festivities and then heading into the game.
Staff will supervise the space, vehicle access will be controlled, and the riders say clear expectations for conduct will be enforced. The changes are set to be ready for the start of the 2026 CFL season. Saskatoon City Council has voted to convert a former restaurant into a warming centre. But stores in the Riversdale neighbourhood where it's located are not happy with the decision and how it may affect business in the area. Helena Mahalik has that story.
What's now a former restaurant in Saskatoon's Riversdale neighbourhood will soon become a warming centre, following a vote at Saskatoon City Council on Wednesday. But not everyone is happy about it. Daryl Brown was hopeful his son would take over his Riversdale alternator shop one day. Now he says that may not happen because of how dangerous the area has become, as more social supports are placed in the neighborhood.
Through part of the day, the front door will be locked. Customers are, their property is in peril, right? They're approached by homeless and drug-addicted people as they come to my door.
Brown says he wishes he and other businesses in the neighborhood were consulted about the warming center before the city made plans to purchase it. He's confused why Riversdale seems to be the only neighborhood where outreach services are being placed.
We're being asked to bear more than our fair share of the burden, and now nobody's asking. They're heaping it upon us and then saying, here, deal with it.
The purchase would be made with money from the federal government, which is also paying for renovations to the space. Brown isn't the only dissenting voice. The councillor who represents the neighborhood was the only councillor to vote against the motion to buy the property.
Common issues that came up before I got elected was the safety and well-being in these neighborhoods, and that continued to be till today. It's an issue. So adding this location on Avenue C is just something that I'm very much concerned.
But other councillors say they just want what's best for the city.
I'm going to vote in favor of the purchase of this building because I don't want to see people die this winter.
The province will be contracting an agency to run the warming centre, which the city says will likely open in late November. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Well, if you've ever visited Prince Albert National Park, you've likely seen elk in the town site or grazing along a back road. But this fall, Parks Canada has had 2 reports of elk with the antlers tangled in man-made material. Lisa Rism has that story.
Avid wildlife photographer Rod Young was photographing elk in Prince Albert National Park earlier this month when he spotted a bull elk in distress.
You may have come across somebody's hammock back in the boonies somewhere, but I don't actually know what it was, but he was really tangled up and pretty stressed out and pretty tired, and he was obviously quite angry, irritated, to say the least.
Young took a short video of the animal and showed it to Parks Canada staff. They immediately set out to find the elk, catching up to it on a gravel road where it was tranquilized.
Once the elk was down and safe to approach, we were able to cut away the netting and free the elk.
Tom Perry, the resource conservation manager, says Parks Canada has had 2 reports this month of bull elk entanglements. The second elk was spotted roaming the town site of Waskesiu with 10 to 15 feet of plastic snow fence on its antlers. Perry says a herd of 60 to 80 elk frequently roam the town site.
Wildlife are part of this landscape. They're part of Waskesiu. They might be eating trees or gardens or that sort of thing. But we want to keep our properties clear of anything that might result in wildlife entanglement. And we share this space with wildlife. We want to keep it that way.
Although it may be tempting to want a closer look or a close-up photo, Perry recommends staying at least 30 meters or 3 bus lengths away from wildlife.
But generally in the rut from September 1st to about 30th, bull elk can be quite aggressive and they can be dangerous. They're really revved up about keeping everything away from their females.
Young says he's happy he could help out.
You know, I've seen them tangled up before, but not like that. That was about as bad as it gets.
According to Perry, elk mating season is winding down, but people can still see them around the park grazing, trying to pack on fat for the winter. Lisa Rism, CBC News, Prince Albert National Park.
King Charles has stripped the royal title from his brother Prince Andrew and is evicting him from his royal residence. Andrew, who's 65, will now have to move out of the royal lodge and into private accommodations. Queen Elizabeth's second son is also no longer allowed to use the title Prince. He will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Just weeks ago, he gave up his other royal titles, including the Duke of York. All this comes amid outrage over his friendship with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. In a recently published book, one of Epstein's accusers alleges Andrew had sex with her when she was a minor. The book came out after she died by suicide. Well, as of Thursday, you will have to pay to charge your electric vehicle at the Lakewood and Lawson Civic Centres in Saskatoon. The charging stations were free since being installed a couple of years ago as a pilot project, but it will now cost about $5 per hour to plug in. There is also a maximum charging duration now of 3 hours. City Council decided to implement the new hourly rate back in August. Stay with us. We have more news and a look at the forecast when we come back after the break. Well, some of the world's best figure skaters are in Saskatoon ahead of the 2025 Skate Canada International. It's the third competition in the annual International Skating Union Grand Prix of figure skating. And the top skaters will qualify for the finals in Japan in December.
I'm so excited. It's always so special to compete in an international event at home and have all the fans here in Saskatoon. I'm just so excited, and I can't believe it's already my third Skate Canada International. When I first got my first assignment, I was like, oh, maybe this is just a one-time thing. I better enjoy it. And now I'm here for the third time in a row, and I can't believe it, and I'm just so happy to be here. Well, I'm getting a bit more experience now. I'm a bit used to it, but I remember the first few times I couldn't believe I was at the same level, the same category, but I still look up to those skaters even though I compete with them. I still try to learn from everybody here. It helps with my confidence to be here with them. I'm like, okay, I made it.
I feel so good. I skated a clean program in the practice this morning, and I feel like I really stepped up. Being a full-time university student and an Olympic level athlete is a lot. I'm going to graduate in May, and I'm so excited for that. It's been a lot of work, and honestly, it's something I'm really proud of. I know growing up, my parents were always really concerned that, there weren't too many athletes who were able to finish university at the same time, and I hope that I'm giving a good example to, the young athletes out there that it's so possible and it's so doable. It was a lot of work, but it's important to stay in school. It's important to prioritize, that second part of your life.
It's really fun. We kind of joked around like this is like, before COVID, we used to have the school programs here like this for practices for nationals and stuff, and this is what it was like. It's very electric. You can't hear your music when you do an element, which is really cool. And we were like saying, this is what like Kurt and Elvis and them always had all the time. So it's really exciting, to have that, and that there is that love for skating and how impressive it is. So it's really cool to have that feeling out on the ice, and also just makes us want to perform even more.
Well, if there was a word to sum up our weather on Thursday, especially in Regina, probably miserable comes to mind. You can see it there on our tower cam as we continue to see some rain and snow in the area. And you can see it on our radar as well, which we'll show you now through most of the province. We've been seeing that cloud cover hanging around, but especially right around that Regina area, even as we've gone through Thursday evening, still some lingering snow flurries they've mostly turned into. Started as a little bit of rain, but then changed over to snow. And that has not been helped by the fact that the winds have been pretty strong at times, nearing 60 kilometers an hour in southeastern Saskatchewan especially, and that is making those temperatures feel a lot cooler. We barely managed to get above freezing in some parts of the province, including Kindersley, just a single degree above freezing. Regina and Saskatoon, we both managed to get to around 3 degrees, but certainly felt like a miserable day for many of us. But thankfully that system going to start to pull away as we get overnight into early Friday. Some sunshine coming. I think we'll get some clearing sort of through the day for many of us, but by the time the sun sets, I think it'll be too late for Regina and eastern sections before we get that clearing. Then another band of cloud cover starts to move in as that weak area of high pressure moves out. That'll bring a little bit of some snow for the most part through northern Saskatchewan for Saturday morning. And then we watch a larger low pressure system developing, which will bring This model saying mostly rain through the northern grain belt before it swings its way along basically the Highway 16 corridor, maybe changing over to a little bit of snow at time. Rainfall-wise, though, not looking for a lot of accumulation from this through the southern half of the province, maybe at most 5 millimeters in some spots. I think northern Saskatchewan is where we'll have to watch the accumulation again. With that second system especially, could be upwards of 10 millimeters rather, especially in the Churchill region. If we get some snow, which it looks like we will over the next few days here, amounts are not going to be huge, but still 1 to 3 centimeters. May see some skiffs here and there and maybe a touch of accumulating snowfall in some spots. But a theme that will definitely continue is that wind. We'll get a bit of a break on Friday as high pressure remains a dominant force. But then as that next area of low pressure moves in, things really start to pick up again, especially for southern Saskatchewan. So for southern Saskatchewan, and particularly Regina, look for another cool Friday. Again, winds not quite as bad. But as we get into Saturday, that high pressure really going to bring us a gorgeous day before we have that chance of showers on Sunday. Skies clear out for Monday, and then we kind of flip-flop back and forth here. Some cloud building back in for Tuesday with a chance of showers before we have the sunshine back on Wednesday and the clouds again for Thursday. And a similar pattern in Saskatoon. We'll get way above seasonal. A nice day on Saturday, and actually on Sunday, not too bad to round out the weekend as well. Monday, look for some sunshine and then possible showers again as we get into Tuesday. But overall, those temperatures, especially as we get into next week, still looking at staying above seasonal for this time of year, even those overnight lows as well. Well, a Saskatoon man is bringing some extra fright to his neighborhood this Halloween. He's gone above and beyond building a normal haunted house, instead building a haunted maze. And all the scaring is for a good cause, with admission going to the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Saskatoon Morning's Stephanie Massicott stopped by to get spooked.
I always tell people there's two things. You're gonna get lost and you're gonna get scared. But it's all fun. I also tell the little kids it's all pretend. I've made it all, but just come in and enjoy it. It's Halloween. People love it. Kids, young and old. We had people that were in their 90s that came through last year. And of course, we've got kids that are, even newborns come through with moms and dads. So people love it. They have a lot of fun in there. This year I made it a lot more mazy, so people get lost. And it takes quite a bit longer to go through. A lot more props, a lot more scares, and the overwhelming response, very positive. People are loving it. I'm just hanging around. Heart and stroke is near and dear to me. I, in 2019, lost one of my best buddies to a massive heart attack at 40 years old, and since then I've lost a few others. So we're all touched somehow by heart disease and stroke, and it means a lot to me. So that's why I do it for heart and stroke. It's nice. People come out and throw their nickels and dimes. I love seeing kids bring their coins in and throw them in the tub. It teaches kids a little bit about that giving as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. At least it didn't get me.
Last year we had about 1,300 people come through. That was adults and kids, and it was packed the whole night. It was like New York City down this street. People couldn't find a place to park. They're parking blocks away and walking here. So thankfully I have some great neighbors around here that put up with all the stuff that goes on. Escape and enjoy the scares. Come and get spooked a little bit. That's the whole point of it. It's Halloween. Come and be a little bit scary, but still have fun at the same time.
Well, you might be tempted to stream the Jays game if you're at that maze. Toronto just needs one more win to take the World Series. They won Game 5 Wednesday by a score of 6-1 over the LA Dodgers, giving the Jays a 3-2 series lead. Game 6 is in Toronto Friday night, Halloween night, with a chance to win it all for the first time since '93. We're back after the break. Welcome back. The CFL has announced its award finalists, and 2 members of the Saskatchewan Roughriders have been nominated. For the second day in a row, Riders offensive lineman Jamarcus Hardrick is highlighted. He has been named the top offensive lineman in the West Division. Now he'll compete with Brandon Revberg of the Hamilton Ticats for the league's top lineman. Riders head coach Corey Mace had no trouble outlining just how impressive Hardrick's performance has been.
Yeah, I think everybody in the league knows how good he can be, how good he is, but just so proud of him for, how things ended for him last year, the work that he put in to get back on the field, and obviously the way he's been playing this year, I think hasn't gone unnoticed. So, well-deserved. A lot of really good offensive linemen in the league and truthfully on our team. But Yosh has just been kind of playing at a different clip.
The Riders bench boss is also up for an award of his own. For the second year in a row, Mace has been named the top coach in the West Division. He led the Riders to a league-best 12-6 record this season. Mace is up against Alouettes head coach Jason Moss for Coach of the Year. Well, we are looking at sort of that yucky weather that we've been seeing through southern Saskatchewan continue as we go overnight, with most of us seeing some cloudier skies, some clearing out west though, but those temperatures out further west where you get those clear skies will be dropping back into the mid to minus single digits for a lot of us. Northern Saskatchewan sitting nicely in between about freezing and -5, but the cloud cover will remain overnight and through the first part of Friday. For your Halloween, it looks like we're going to be finally seeing those clouds clear out of here, and by the time you hit the trick-or-treating on Friday afternoon, looks like we'll finally get some clear skies in there. For south and central, though, we'll be starting the day, especially in eastern sections, with that cloud cover. Out west, though, I think as we get to the noon hour, we'll start to see those break away, and then finally that clearing moves eastward. By 4 o'clock, we see some nice conditions moving in, and by the time you're heading out with the kids, well, the temperatures may still be a little bit chilly, so you may need an extra sweater or the costumes over top, but overall the rain and snow should be out of there. Well, that is our news for this Thursday. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks for watching.